Shalom, everybody. Rabbi Edelstein here with this week's installment of Rabbi E in 3, brought to you as always by MEOR DC. Darkness and light, choshech or light. Why am I saying that? Well, we're 2 hours away from Shabbos, a day of light, spiritual light and joy and rest. But we're also almost on the eve of Hanukkah, 8 beautiful days of or, of illumination when we light the menorah, exalted and holy days that I want to talk about with you before the holiday, but just to get us in the mindset, darkness and light. Certainly our history has been full of darkness and light, whether at the time of the Hanukkah story or many other times. As individuals, we go through periods of darkness, feeling exiled, feeling cut off from ourselves, from God, challenges, temptations. This world is a place of tests and challenges, our rabbis say. That is the very essence of our lives, as God gave them to us. So this week's Torah portion, which doesn't have anything explicitly to do with Hanukkah, but it's full of darkness that eventually leads to light. It's full of challenges, downs, and then later ups. The whole story, in other words, for this portion, Vayeishev, the end of the book of Genesis, and the next couple of portions, a story of Joseph and his brothers, Yosef. Now there's a bitter conflict between them. They're jealous of him. He's the favorite of Yaakov. He's the one who learns the most wisdom from his father Yaakov, Jacob. They see him, the other brothers, as a threat to the family spiritually. Not our topic now, a very deep one, but they want to get rid of him. And they sell him to a caravan that brings him at age 17 down to Egypt, ripped from the holy land and the holiness of his father Yaakov's tent, and learning with his father in Egypt, in the employ of a servant of Pharaoh named Potiphar. Now, Yosef is very charming, successful, talented, and handsome. And that gets him into trouble because the wife of Potiphar, you might remember the story, Ashes Potiphar, wants to seduce him and tries to seduce him. And he's far away from home. No one knows where he is, what he's doing. He could do whatever he wants, with her included, and he doesn't want. You know, one of the kinds of darkness we're plagued by in life is sometimes lack of moral clarity. Is it the right thing to do or not? No lack of moral clarity here. Yosef at 17, faced with a temptation I can't even conceive of, knew it was wrong. Let me read you these verses, beautiful in their own right, but also illuminating in a bigger way too. She said, "Lie with me." He adamantly refused. He said to his master's wife, "Look, my master doesn't concern himself with anything in the house. Whatever he has, he placed in my custody." Yosef was running the whole place. "There's no one greater in this house than I, and he's denied me nothing but you, since you're his wife. So how could I do this great evil and sin against God?" The darkness of his situation and the clarity of his refusal. We can't imagine how hard it must have been, but he was not fuzzy about it was wrong, it was a sin against God, a violation of the trust of his master. That itself is a remarkable thing in our world, in our lives. We should study that, live by it, treasure it if we can. But there's a beautiful, deeper understanding of the verse. There's no one greater in this house than I, Yosef says. We human beings created in God's image, there's no one greater in this house than us. God created us in his image, and he's given us everything. A beautiful world, 5 senses, pleasures beyond belief. The only thing he's withheld from us is he does not compel us to choose good over evil, right over wrong. That he's placed in our hands. How can we violate that trust and do what's wrong? Sometimes there's darkness, but we have to strive and look. But sometimes it's clear it was wrong. And Yosef stood up to that. So many things in life, we have the opportunity to be strong like Yosef or like the Maccabees. I'm over 3 minutes. I tried to get it 3 minutes, but okay. Have a wonderful Shabbos, a Shabbos filled with light, hopefully greater moral clarity in our own lives, greater spiritual clarity, and we'll talk hopefully after Shabbos. Good Shabbos.